All right, boys and girls, we should be live. Forgive the voice. I know I sound like I'm going through puberty, but that's not quite the case. I had to, jump out there and, do some expo stuff this week. And hold on, I want to make sure that everybody, there we go. There we go. I do got ads turned on, so I forgot. I got a little bit of a delay. All right, guys, now we're live. Let me try this for a second time. I want to say hey to everybody. Thanks for stopping by. We've got already a bunch of people in the waiting room. And as always, I want to say hello to all my beautiful biologics out there and any other creatures that may be watching throughout the universe. Tonight, we got a special guest with us, and we got 2 giveaways. So, like I always say, share it out on your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, anywhere in the interwebs, the tubes of the world, so that we can get some people out here and introduce them to my buddy John, who I really do consider a buddy. I kind of discovered him. I didn't discover him. Brian discovered him. The world discovered him. Let's change that. Nobody discovered him. The world discovered him. I'm sure everybody knew about him back in his neck of the woods, and I'll let him tell you where that's at. But John was the first winner of the first, John, I always get this wrong, so correct me, National Professional Fishing League? MPLF? I always get it wrong, man.
It took me a minute too. It's the Mpfl.
Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, I'm going to let John introduce himself. He's an awesome dude, and I'm telling you, he's a heck of a stick. And you've got 2 true geeks here tonight. I consider myself an electronics geek, but John is part owner. Again, I'll let him tell his own story here of the hat that he's wearing there, the Bass Tank, which is a electronics rigging, selling, and I'll let him describe that better than me because I'm sure he can. All right, John. Sorry, I've talked enough.
I gotta apologize for being a little late to the scene. I've had a good day. It was a long day. We started out actually on BTL this morning.
Wow.
And got to shoot some BTL, and then a lot of hecticness through getting back, getting in the office. Then we started shooting video for my YouTube at 5:30 today, doing Garmin tips and stuff of that nature. We just got done as I was running here trying to fire this thing up, and so it wasn't ready to go like I was. So that's where we're at. But like you said, first inaugural winner of the Mpfl, actually won a second event. So I won the first 2 of the first 3 events, and it's been good, man.
Yeah, it's been a great year for John. Last year was a great year for John. We're hoping this year's going to be even better. Guys, he is now, John, you got started. Did you not get started in crappie tournaments? Did you not used to fish crappie tournaments?
You guys out on the east, like, I can't get over this crappie word. Like,
well,
can you say crappie? Can you just say speckled something like every time you say it, I'm like getting a little offended. I'm like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
They're pretty good. I mean, they're not crappy. That's I always make the joke. I'm like, hey, you caught a crappie. That'll make a good sandwich, a good crappie sandwich.
So that's funny you say that. To some people that may think that way, but the answer is, I mean, my first word was fish. I went to crappie docks as a kid. Heated docks. We didn't have any money for a boat or anything like that. So, I love, one of my first fish I probably ever caught was a crappie. But
the gateway drug, one of the gate drugs, the pan fish.
And but no, you're probably referring in 2000. I guess it was 2019 was the first. It was the inaugural Wally Marshall, classic, which was built to be like the Bassmaster classic of crappie fishing. And through the Bass Tank, I had been spending that entire year working with a lot of our clients, a lot of our customers were crappie guides, and we were doing a lot of training in the live scope and the forward shooting sonar, and so I got to targeting a lot of crappie that route. And our sales rep at the Bass Inc., Zeke, is a tournament crappie fisherman, and he qualified for the Wally Marshall, and he needed a partner. He didn't have a boat. He couldn't actually go fish it. So the last week of invitations, Zeke got invited. Now, we were going to that expo to set up, and they let me in because Zeke qualified, and it was the last boat in while everybody else was out practicing. We were in Oklahoma loading the box truck. And while everybody was practicing the second day, we were driving out there. While everybody's practicing the third day, we're setting up at the expo. And we got a small half a day, 1.5 days on the water to practice. And we ended up actually coming in second place in the inaugural Wally Marshall. Chris Jones was the commentator, the Chris Jones.
Yeah.
And the year before that, 2018, I actually fished the Forest Wood Cup in 2018. So Chris on stage was like, "I didn't know you were a crappie fisherman." My response was, "I'm not." So I got known as this crappie fisherman through that. But I do have a love. I do have a love for crappie fishing.
But man, I mean, that's one thing. I've wondered that, and I've actually talked to Brian. So guys, the way I actually met John was through I co-host another podcast called the Basscast, and Brian had him on after the win. My buddy Brian, who runs the podcast, and immediately, I mean, the first show, I began my fisherman's man crush on Mr. John Soukup here.
It's the beard.
It is definitely the beard. But again, we're the bearded bass anglers. I don't think anyone that's ever been on the live stream has not had a beard. So
it's a qualification. It's actually on that 3-page application you sent me. And
there you go. Must have beard or at least 3 o'clock shadow. But now guys, listen, I will tell you, go ahead, make sure you're getting some questions in, especially like I said, the electronics, or we got a pro angler here, so pick the man's brain. We'll get to them for sure. Like I said, that's going to be the fun part of the night for me, is always asking John the questions I like. And John,
I only know 3 things though. I know how to catch bass. All right.
Yeah, okay.
Are you following me?
I got you.
Catch bass. I know how to eat.
Oh yeah, I can.
And I know how to make babies. Okay.
We got to elaborate on that. That could go so many wrong ways.
We just had our 4th child last week.
You finally healthy. Now I don't remember what you said. The sex was boy, girl.
Are you supposed to wait until like they're 18 before you find that out nowadays?
I don't know.
Not in my house. Not in my house. I had my second boy. I've got 2 boys. I got 2 boys and 2 girls now. We balanced it out, evened it out in the house.
Thank God.
It's pretty excited. We had an 8-year span. So we've got a 14-year-old, an 11-year-old, 8-year-old, and now 10 days. Well, no, 11 days now. 11. I just had to look at the clock. 11 days, 1 hour.
All right. I do got to give a big quick shout out. Joseph Keller, thank you for the $5. And he's already got a question thrown in here. How many times do you watch your edited videos before posting them to YouTube? Sometimes that answer is 0, because then I go back and I go, Jesus Christ, did I leave that in there?
Don't do that.
If you ever see me go, oh, damn it, 3, 2, 1, and then I start completely over, okay, you'll know. And there are videos out there that have those. Maybe we need to make that Easter egg hunt. What BassGeek videos have screw ups that were left in them out there? So Joseph, maybe you're going to help us out there. and I seen a post from my guy Jared Kemper Fishing. I'm not sick. I'm taking my medicine here, by the way. Praise Dale, raise hell. I think that's how it goes. And I talked to so many of you awesome guys and gals that were out there. at the Knoxville Fishing Expo this year. It was incredible. I'm always humbled and excited. You guys energized the heck out of me coming out there to say hey and chat with me again. Hey Jackson, that's pretty fun. What's going on, Jackson? BassGeek is the man. Nope, Jax, you are the man. All right, now, so other than making babies and eating and fishing, you're pretty good at growing a beard. You gotta put 4. You're pretty good at growing a beard too. So tell everybody what you're fishing this year, because John has got a crazy schedule going down this year.
I'm doing the second season of the Mpfl, and so, but I also, through a Yamaha exemption, got signed up for all 9 opens. So I'll be fishing the opens and the Mpfl. The odds of me finishing the opens probably aren't that great. I'm going to chase that elite qualification. And if somehow I was to swing and win one of the opens, I will clear my entire schedule and make sure I fish the rest of that, so that I can make sure that I'm at the classic one day. Yeah.
First off, we want to say, hey, white whale fishing, congratulations on a happy, healthy baby, John. I hope the missus is doing well.
She is.
So let's see. I did see. Here's a question for you. Also, fishing the Southeast. What is it like having Alex film for you? I'm his buddy, but I've never gone fishing with him. Would love to do so one day. So what's it like? What's it like working with Alex? By the way, and by the way, shout out Alex's channel if people don't know who Alex is.
Oklahoma's worst angler.
There you go.
The first time I ran into him, we were on the water. Bradley Hallman and I were actually out. He happened to be filming, but we were just actually out fishing. And we ran into Alex on the water. And that's how I met Alex. And Bradley said, hey, is that Oklahoma's worst angler? And I was like, man, that's kind of rude. I was like, I didn't know we just yelled at people like that still.
Hey, man, you suck.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, that's me. We were like,
I do.
Like, oh, I'm even more confused. So that's how Alex and I actually met and started talking about doing this YouTube thing together. So he's great to work with is the answer. He's been really great to work with. So he's got a cool channel too.
So now, speaking of channels, guys, John did start his channel this year. Go ahead and shout that out. Tell us a little bit about your plans for that. I'll tell you what, John must have one heck of a wife who's taking care of those 4 kids. And the man never stops. He's fishing this much. He's got the bass tank. Now he's doing a YouTube channel. And I mean, I don't know when he finds time. She's probably going to hog time one day and be like, "You gonna stay at the house for a damn week, boy?"
Yeah, we have those conversations. We got to work through it. But yeah, the channel's the Hookup with Soukup. People ask, well, how do you get the name the Hookup? I got the name the Hookup through the Mpfl. Luke Duncan actually tagged me with that because every time they're going to live, he said he's hooked up, and so it just came through the Hookup with Soukup. And hey, listen, I love it. Actually, call me the Hookup. I want to always be hooked up. So the Hookup with Soukup, it's our YouTube channel. You guys, I think we've only put like 6 or 7 videos out, but really good feedback so far. We're going to go a lot more in depth on. We've been pioneers of the forward shooting sonar from the beginning. I've had it on my boat. I think I was like the 3rd person to have it on their boat, like quite literally. Besides like maybe a beta tester or something like that. So we've been using it. I had used it in the Force Wood Cup in 2018. So that's how long I've had it and used it. We've definitely pioneered some techniques and things that other people are now using all over, and we've been on the forefront of that. So we're going to bring some of that to our fish catches, have a little fun, then we'll actually go in depth sometime. And like I just shot a active captain video, go a little bit more in depth on what we use our sonar for and how we actually use it to find, locate, catch fish, and prep for tournaments, and all that good stuff.
So this is a question for me about, I did talk to the barge guys. I talked to them in the live stream. By the way, they're looking for people to hire. So if you need a job, there's your job.
I saw somebody up towards the top asked about a red lipless a thing.
I just had that right there. So our red lipless,
Yeah.
the real deal during the
That's
I'm
a
guessing that's
pre-spawn.
supposed to be pre-spawn. Yeah.
Yeah. This Jim needs to buy himself a dozen Rayburn Reds, half ounce, but you can go all the way up to 3/4 and down to 1/4, and go find you some grass. It is a big time deal, especially around the grass. You guys, the crawdads love to live in that grass, especially down in the south. They're a lot more active than up north, and they're absolutely bright red that time of year. It makes a flash. It becomes a reaction out of the color, and they will snap out all over. And I don't know if everybody notices also, but during the wintertime, those fish will start getting those pretty, pretty pink, pretty red lips.
Oh yeah.
And they're cold blooded, so it brings a lot of that blood to the surface. And so a lot of the animals in the water have that same feature. And so red is definitely a color in the wintertime and into the springtime. 100%.
So what's your favorite way to target suspended fish, John? Which
Yes.
the forward facing sonar makes that much easier to do.
My favorite lure would be the Garmin Live Scope lure. I don't know if
whichever one they react to as you throw it by them, right?
My favorite way to target them. Favorite way versus most productive. Probably I enjoy throwing an A-rig. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not tournament fishing time. I just think it's awesome to have them come up and blast it. I don't know. That's something about an A-rig. I like the Mob Junior. I throw that little Mob Junior all the time.
I think we're long lost brothers.
Well, but when it comes to tournaments and I can't throw it, you're going to see about 5 jerkbaits on my deck, and I'm going to rotate through jerkbaits. That's how I won the Eufaula, Alabama event, was throwing a jerkbait. So I'm going to use the word, I'm going to say jerkbait, but it's because I love the tool that it can be. I can do a lot more things with it. But, listen, I don't mean to answer it with like 3 different answers, but I would have to say a backup to that is just like a spinnerbait, man. If they're crashing a spinnerbait, I mean, they'll rip the rod out of your hand. You know what I mean? So if I can get them eating a spinnerbait, but no, if I had to choose one tool, it's going to be the jerkbait.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, so what lake out of everything you're fishing this year, what lake are you looking most forward to?
Hey, what's up, Jared? I recognize Jared. He's following my channel.
Yep.
He's been giving me some shout outs and stuff. I appreciate that. What lake am I looking forward to fishing the most? On the Mpfl schedule, I'm probably going to have to say the first 2 events. The Cumberland event. I've never been to any lakes we're fishing this year too. So, everything that I do, I don't go and do a lot of pre-practice, and I don't have time to do all that stuff. So I've got to do a lot of eliminating really quickly. But a lake like Cumberland that you can watch a couple of videos and see that it sets up potentially for a live scoper, it's going to have me excited. So
yes,
we have a couple lakes up north that a lot of guys are excited about. And I may get excited when I get up there, but I have little experience up there. So I've got a little bit more nerves and reservation to be just excited about something I'm not familiar. Of course, I'm going to Florida next week to fish the Southern Open. And
John likes Florida, just in case y'all
Florida likes me. She said hi. She gave me a big old kiss.
Pretty trophy.
Yeah. And so, I mean, who doesn't like, potentially being in Florida and catch a 10-pounder? So, I probably am going to say the Florida one and probably Cumberland. My first 2 events off the bat, I'm probably the most excited about.
Awesome. So John, for all the guys out there, all of us weekend anglers, I preach it all the time. How important electronics and learning how to use electronics are. And this man does classes every day, basically, when he's home, on helping guys learn electronics. Tell these guys how much time it can turn a weekend of fishing into a weekend of catching, and how important it is for those guys that are just fun fishing.
Well, listen, man, we hashtag things all the time, catching, not fishing. Not because we don't just love being on the water and fishing, but it's extremely important, not just to the tournament guy. Let's step away from the tournament guy, just the average fun fisherman out just wanting to have fun. Most of us that are just out trying to have fun, we had to pick a Saturday. We maybe got off because we were off work that time. we literally had 1 day a month or 2 days a month that we're able to go out and go fishing. And so you don't have a lot of time to go and mess up. You want to be catching fish. And so your electronics are your eyes under the water that allow you to learn and identify. Now, listen, if you don't have a lot of time to mess with them and learn them, you can get carried away too much and then get caught too much and then you just staring at electronics. But there's some basic things that you can use your electronics for starting out that will help you start to learn the environment of what the fish behavior is and help you identify, a starting point, if you will. Fishing and practicing, to me, practicing happens a lot more before you start catching.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about finding the fish. A lot of people think it's about finding the fish. We talk about that all the time. Find the fish, find the fish.
Yeah.
But really, it's about eliminating water. Eliminating. And once you've eliminated and kind of circled around and captured the thought process where the fish are at. And the reason why is because you can find the fish for a split second. And what happens a lot of times is we go out there, we make a couple casts in the morning, maybe with the top water, and we get a good bite, and then we end up spending 3 or 4 hours doing the same thing, trying to repeat. And if you haven't eliminated things yet, you're still trying to chase this one magical fish that you caught.
Yep.
And so, I like to take my electronics to help me and eliminate things, whether that I eliminated it using a simple temperature gauge. In the springtime, listen, if the main lake's 45 and I go into the back of the creek, it's been sunny for 2 weeks and it's been in the 70s and I get back there and the water's in the 60-degree range. You guys, listen, those girls are they're ready to go make love. Those bass are moving in there. They're making their beds. That's where you're going to want to be. I just eliminated a large portion of the water that I'm going to fish in by just using a simple temperature gauge.
Yeah. And you don't have to have the latest and greatest stuff. Now, if you're competing in big tournaments, you're probably going to want it now. I mean, there's a lot of guys that, it's going to be hard to compete. And I'll say that right now, competing for $10,000, which is nowhere near what John was competing for. But in a competitive sense, I know we got our butts kicked a lot by guys that had the Garmin Live Scope, and being a computer geek and being a bass geek, I don't like that sting. Hey, so here's kind of a this or that question. We'll get a lot of those. Black or blue or green pumpkin for the rest of your life? You only can fish one.
Oh, I probably have to go with green pumpkin.
Me too. I'm there. So
that's a hard one, because if you look at my color boxes, that's all I carry is a dark or a green pumpkin, pretty much. Now I may have a white version and I may have a black neon version for in the springtime because I like those red sparks, just because the same things we talked about. But for the most part, if I've got 5 different plastics and you look at my boxes, that's what I got. Or my jigs, for instance, I got a brown jig and I got a black jig. That's what I carry with me.
There you go. Hey guys, everybody, welcome Jason Christie Fishing. And yes, this is the real Jason Christie. And he's asking a hardcore question. That's really him. Trust me, it's him. So why did you choose MLF over Bassmaster?
I don't know what he's talking about. That's
I
not
don't either.
Jason Christie.
That's him, though. I don't know. But trust me, it's him. We've had a discussion.
Staying up late picking on me? Best shallow water bait?
What? B-bait?
He's got a note there, 801. John Soukup, best shallow water bait.
Shallow water.
Bed.
I don't know.
Bed bait.
Bed bait. There you go.
Yeah. He wanted me to say the Christie crawl.
That's what he's wanting. Yeah,
he's trying to make some money before he goes to bed. What he's trying to do. Let me get some mailbox money. No, I do like a crawl though. I really do. I love bed fishing with a crawl.
I'll tell you.
I love the color black neon. I really do.
Black neon for a bit. Hey, what kind of? I mean, are you sight fishing with that, like a black crawl? I mean,
yeah, sight fishing and not sight fishing. 1/2 ounce tungsten, 20-pound test line. You're going to be able to go around and just pitch around logs, drag around logs, feel for hard bottom. Like when you're creek fishing, I like to do a lot of creek fishing in the springtime. And for me, man, there's just something about the black neon that makes those fish mad. I mean, there really is. There's
That's
been too many times I put different colors in there, and they see that black color. I think it's intimidating to them. You know, I mean, there's a lot of guys that will swim some bluegill stuff around, and there's a lot of bluegills around and stuff like that. But day in and day out, put me in the springtime and I'm bed fishing, I'm doing a black neon 90% of the time.
I like, I don't know if you've ever tried it, but when they get real finicky for some reason, there's it's called, oh my God, a Sakushi bug. And I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of stuff on how bass are a little more aggressive toward crawls that don't have their pincers anymore.
Right.
And that's kind of what it looks like. And for the past few years, smallmouth predominantly, largemouth, you know, a little here and there. It's really been pretty interesting.
I will tell you the worst bed fishing story you've ever heard in your life.
All right, okay, story time. Here we go.
So first of all, Hank, you know, February 3rd is the open. It's my 40th birthday. So so I deserve a win. I mean, right there, they just need to give it to me. 40th birthday present. But I have learned, I'm telling you my age because I'm going to tell you I'm a little bit of a late bloomer in the bass fishing world because I spent a lot of time working, man. I've got a flooring company and I wasn't able to pursue the fishing dream like I would have loved to, right? Now, listen, I've been blessed. The Bass Tank's given me that opportunity, so I have no complaints, right? But I've had to learn the hard way a lot. So a lot of my experience, if I say I know something, it's because, like, listen, you want to know 24 stories of why I learned that? Like, I did it wrong, 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 I did it wrong. And so I was on Sam Rayburn fishing a Costa. And it was around the February, March time period. A lot of people were in between waves of spawners. And a lot of guys were still out on the grass throwing that trap and throwing the A-rig and stuff like that. And I had a horrible practice. Well, I went around at the very end of the last day, and all of a sudden I start seeing a bed. And then there's another bed. And then there's another bed. And I'm like, wait, man, there's some 3-pounders here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark some 3-pounders, get me 15 pounds. Then I'm going to go throw a big swim bait and see if I can catch a kicker. You know, I know 15 pounds ain't going to win you anything on Rayburn, but at this moment, I hadn't found nothing, right? So I went around, put the pole up, and started marking beds. So day one comes around, about the first 3 hours in the day, and I get about 17 pounds in the box on the beds. And so I didn't see any more big fish, so I put the trolling motor on high, and I went to practicing for the next day before I went out and threw that big swim bait. And so I had the trolling motor on high, and I had one of those 8-inch gigantic Senkos, you know, those big ones. Have you guys seen the big
Yes.
Senkos, the 8-inch ones, right? And I had it weightless, and what I was doing is I trolling motor on high, and I was looking for 3 and 4 pounders to mark. I was going to get myself about 10 of them. So I had about 15 to 17 pounds the next day. And so I'm marking trolling motor high, but then I'm throwing that Senko, just bombing it out in the middle because there's grass out there, and occasionally, you know, you'll have a male, and occasionally a big one might grab it. So I got that thing on my shoulder, and I'm slinging it. I'm trolling motor on high. My co-angler is in the back deck, and he's trying to fish while I'm just scanning and looking. And all of a sudden, I come around this little corner, and there was 3 or 4 pounders, and then a gigantic bass. And I power pulled down with the trolling motor on high. So we went, you know, almost.
Oh my God.
So I fall to my knees, and now my heart's going 100 miles an hour, and I get up and I look, and there is the biggest carp I've ever seen. Just a carp sitting right next to all these 3 and 4 pound bass. And so I started laughing at myself, and I told my co-angler, I said, man, get up here and look at this carp that I thought was a bass and about killed us. So he comes, and now he's standing on the front deck with me. He's like, where's the carp? And I took that Senko, and I said, right there. And I flipped up next to that carp, and that carp turned around and went, and I saw white like this on both sides of that Senko. This thing's mouth was, I mean, it was like this big.
Oh my God.
And I got scared, and I jerked that Senko right out of that fish's mouth. And I was like, oh my God, it is a bass. It is a bass. And he just meandered. He was up there sunning. He wasn't on a bed. He meandered off. I was waiting for him to turn around and come back, and he didn't. And she went down into the grass in the depths. I went back to that spot probably another 12 times the day 2 to see if she come back. Such a big fish. I'm such an idiot, but it was such a big fish in my brain, it didn't even register that it could have been a bass. I don't know what that thing was. I've seen 10 and 11s on beds. That thing was way, way bigger. It was pretty crazy.
All right, I do have to say I don't think that is the real Jason Christie, but the reason why I thought it was Jason Christie is because me and Jason Christie trolled me the other day, and we kind of had a little conversation about it. I ain't gonna say when it was, but we had a little bit of.
We're gonna see him at the shop. I can walk you out and show his boat right now. He'll be at the shop tomorrow morning. I'll see him at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Tell him BassGeek said hi and just let him look at you real like, you know that a-hole. Yeah. All right. Anyway, sorry, I had to find that guy. I just wanted to make sure he was using the stuff. By the way, guys, we're going to do 2 giveaways tonight. I want to jump in and I want to tell you. So I was at the Knoxville Expo. I am going to be at the Columbus Expo. You're going to be at any shows? I mean, I'm sure you're probably not because you are so stinking busy, John. I couldn't imagine you doing more.
Yeah. We're going to be at the Classic.
Okay, so you'll be at the Classic, which, man, crazy.
Deep breath. It's coming up.
Yeah. I will not be at the Classic. So I will not be at the Classic. But we're going to answer Backlash Pro's question. But, guys, I've got 2 kits. This is the from Third Eye Fishing, the Nico Rig kit. So we'll give away one of those. It comes with everything you need. And then we've got the Drop Shot kit. So we will give those away. We'll give them away. We'll give one away about halfway through the show, which we are pretty much already there. And one at the end of the show. All right, question. Are you a bait junkie? Do you use any custom painted stuff or just keep it simple?
Am I a bass fisherman? I mean, can you call yourself a bass fisherman if you're not a bait junkie? We have problems, people. Like, we need a support group. We can start one now, possibly.
Yeah. I tell them all the time, I mean.
My garage right now, it stays organized, but at the end of the year, I go through, and if I put it all up on the wall, if I can fit, but then I got laid out tables. So the answer is 100%. I'm a ridiculous bait junkie. I buy too much, but I go through, and if I haven't caught anything on it for 2 years, that's the one thing. I haven't caught anything in 2 years, it marks. Now, if I haven't caught anything in 2 years, but I have won a tournament or really cashed a check with it in the past, it's a staple that I know when and where to pull it out. It stays. But if I haven't, it's gone. And I got some guys that come help me out. Usually some younger guys help me do a lot of my heavy lifting and stuff when I'm doing, help me stay motivated to get on and I give it, we give it away. So that's how that goes. But I stay away from the custom painted stuff. And I'll tell you the reason why. I stay away from it because when you build confidence in something you can't get it, you're in trouble. You don't want. So I like to go with the stuff. Now I do have some particular stuff. There's some tricks I do with some of my plastics that take some dye and take some marking up and things like that that I like to do. But I stay away from them. I think they're beautiful. When someone does a custom paint job, I like to go see it. But I stay with the stuff that you can buy off the shelves. For that reason, I want to stay with the confidence stuff.
For the most part, I do too. If I've got a guy that's local to me and he paints a couple, I don't go crazy with it. I'm sure it's a big thing out there where you're at too, is the balsa flat sides, during the colder weather. So those are
wiggle warts.
Yeah, wiggle warts too, rock crawlers. So, a couple of those types of baits that are custom painted that I can just go, hey man, I need a boat ton of these. Just go ahead and paint them up. So I've at least got them for the next 15 years.
Backlash also asked me if I keep it simple, man. I really do try to keep it simple. Like I said, I try to have only about 3 to 4 max colors of a certain thing. Now, where it gets complicated for me is, when I'm doing blade combinations on spinner baits, I want to have them right there ready and don't want to build one, or, some different jerk baits can have one jerk bait can have 4 or 5 different modifications that you want to have ready right then. Don't want to sit down and tweak it. So there gets, that gets a little bit more complicated there. But for the most part, I am kind of meat potatoes on colors and things of that nature. So
we're gonna do we're gonna do a little something a little different, and I'm gonna start a little something called Keep or Cull, and that means Basically, do you like it or would you toss it? Well, you going to keep it? Is it a keeper or are you culling that sucker out? So we're going to dedicate this one to my buddy Tackle Junkie 81, who said he's never ate biscuits and gravy. John, keep a cold biscuits and gravy. I know he's not a real man. I took his man card away from him.
He's definitely not a Southerner. That's for sure.
He's not. He's not.
He's 100% Yankee. He just told himself right there. Does he drink regular tea? He probably never had sweet tea either.
He's probably drinking. I mean, he's probably drinking brewed. Probably got no sweet tea in it at all.
Listen, man, he needs to go south. He needs to find the most Southern Baptist church he can find in the deep South on dinner day, and he needs to find himself the heaviest set man and go home with him for breakfast. I guarantee you have biscuits and gravy. You'll never forget.
Oh, I wished he was on here. Everybody make sure you go tell Tackle Junkie we just called him out.
And that is definitely a keeper. You gotta eat those biscuits and gravy.
That is definitely a keeper. Oh crap, I pushed the wrong button. All right. So now I've got to come up with a question while I fix my my stuff here. Let's see. Oh, hey, somehow I missed this. Holy cow. Murky Shadows Outdoors, $99 donation. Holy
where's my royalties on this deal? Is my account? Am I getting notifications from my bank right now?
John is now a weekly show.
Yeah.
He's got to be on every single night.
Now you can buy 3 of those crankbaits you like.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But listen, guys, I will take all the donations I can get because my wife has not yet seen the bank account for all the stuff that you can see slightly over that shoulder that I bought while I was at the expo. And not to ruin it for you, but one of them cost $160 by itself, and it was a bait. So, yeah, wow, $100. I agree.
Yeah, I hope you got 40-pound test fluoro for that
thing. What's one bait technique you don't have confidence in, don't use, that you should put more time in with, John? That's a good one for a pro. That's something we never ask. We always ask you what you like. We never ask you what you don't. It's a good one.
What am I not good at? You're asking me what I'm not good at.
Like one technique or presentation. One or one that you don't have confidence in.
One thing that I'd like to learn to do better is glide baiting. I don't know that I want to spend the time that it takes to know when and how and where to pull it out and when to use it and when to put it back up. I've played around with it a little bit, and I've had a lot of fun doing it, man. I've seen some master schools come up and just blast that thing and then not hook up, and just so that is one thing. I'm gonna have to throw a little bit. I'm getting better at the Ned rig, but I'm just not quite there like I should possibly be with the Ned rig. I'm more of a shaky head guy. I'll pull the shaky head out over the Ned rig.
I'm the same way.
I have a lot of confidence in the shaky head, but I know there's times when that Ned is getting bites and I'm just not getting.
I am the same way. Me, it's and this is perfect segue. So we'll go ahead and give away the drop shot package right now. But I'm that way with the drop shot. I know it works. I know it catches fish. It's not that I don't have confidence in it. It's kind of like I love to throw a Carolina rig too. I hate to rig one. I hate to rig these things. I got to tie 3 knots and, put a weight on. And, I'm lazy. I'm fat for a reason. I didn't get this way from being, a hard worker. I'm a smart worker. That's why I'm in IT. All right, guys. So here we go. We're going to do a giveaway. And what we're going to do, you're going to do a hashtag. And we're going to do hashtag Oh, wait, I got to write it in here first. Like I've done this before. We're going to do hashtag the bass tank. All right, so we're going to let that collect and we're going to keep talking. So the bass tank. So, John, tell us about the boat you're running. Tell us about why you like it. I'm interested in it. I like it myself.
I am running a 21 Express, and I ran it last year, so I'm in an aluminum boat. I had, previously a big fiberglass boat. I love fishing shallow water. I am known as the electronics because that was kind of what's gone on live, but I grew up, like I said, without a boat, wading the back of creeks, fishing out of a belly boat, fishing ponds that, wading in the ponds. And that's where my love for fishing, to me, which, has very little, shut off the electronics and just go throw a frog, go flip, spinner bait, just put those three things in my hand and I will just love fishing forever. So with that being said, when I'm competing, one of the biggest things that I have to do is be really efficient with my time. And sometimes my brain may say, go fish in 6 inches of water. And the other part of me is yelling, hey, go offshore and use your electronics in 30 foot of water. Well, like I talked about with eliminating water, I want to be able to get way back as fast as possible, check it out, and then decide, no, this isn't where I need to be, and get out without ruining 2 or 3 hours of just idling. And that is one thing that Express allows me to do. I can do both, get really, really shallow and get out and run with the bigger boats, the big boys, if you will. And so, that's the excitement that I have with that Express.
They're good boats. I like them. I like the layout. Now you've got the C deck throughout, or I don't know if that's the technical brand. Looks good. So do you prefer the C deck? What's the pros and cons about having C decks versus carpet?
I prefer the C deck. I mean, the only con that you have is sometimes it doesn't have as comfy of a feeling. I mean, at times, what I mean? But for the most part, like, let's say I get rained on, a fiberglass boat with the carpet, it weighs that boat down and it takes forever for it to dry. The C deck, it runs right off, and my deck is dry really quick. I don't carry that weight around in the boat. So those are the biggest advantages that I can say. It's lighter, on that boat as well. So
nice. All right, guys. So we have got 61 entries. I'm going to give you literally just a few more minutes. Let's see if we can get to 65. And I want to give a big shout out to everybody. We're running at about, we dropped down to 139. If you ain't in here, you can't win. All right. But, we're running at about 140 to 145 all night in the live stream. That's awesome. Since we started doing these, and again, we're going to do them about every Monday night. It'll probably be every other Monday night.
Can I give something away?
Well, yeah,
you're all the fun. You're just giving everything away. I don't give nothing away.
If you want to give something away, what do you want to add to? You want to add to this, or you want to save it for the last giveaway?
You do your thing, and then tell me when I can do a giveaway, and I'm going to give away some. I'll tell you what I'm going to give away.
Okay, what are you going to give away?
I'm cleaning out my tackle. Yeah. I'm going to give away just like a monster bag of just randomness. That's good stuff.
He's coming on the show showing me up. He's gone. He's out. No, I'm kidding.
This guy, you got guys giving you $99 and you're giving away a package. Like, no one's giving me money. I'm Santa Claus. I'm over here bags of tackle, man.
Hey, guys, you know the drinking game. Hey, he's giving away a girthy bag. A girth. That's right. Take a drink. All right, guys, we're up to 67. We're at 68. I don't know. Should we wait to 70 at this point? We're at 68 of them.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Two more entries. If anybody's in there.
I got a rule, though. I got a rule, though, Hank. I got a rule, though, of how I'm going to do my giveaway. If you're okay with it.
You got to text me. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'll text you, too. But what they need to do is they need to go over to the Hookup with Soukup. Okay? Go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and then just comment anywhere BassGeek or hashtag BassGeek in there.
There you go.
And
on his latest video, there you go. And he'll draw from that. How's that?
100%.
All right. There you go, guys.
And I mean, you're going to have to, it's going to cost me $200 to ship this stuff. We got a whole monster bag. I mean, you might even get a rod out of this deal.
Oh,
honestly.
my God.
I'll throw it in there.
Now, wait, don't everybody start leaving. We mean after the show.
Yeah,
okay?
after the show. Yeah, don't
after
go
the
now.
show.
We'll wait until we'll draw this thing tomorrow. So
all right,
BassGeek help me out on that.
We got 70. I'll make sure I promote it. We got 71. So we're doing the drawing right now, guys. Again, we're giving away the drop shot. Thanks to Third Eye for sponsoring the giveaway tonight. And here we go.
Is that watermelon candy? What color?
Daggone it. I think it's, you know what? I did something stupid. So, guys, forgive me. Remember, I'm new at this. I'm going to share this right now. Fishing with Gramps won. Actually, here, I'm trying to get this shared up. Forgive me. I am a total moron. But here we go. And there. So, Fishing with Gramps, you can see he did win. We did a little drawing there, Fishing with Gramps. Fishing with Gramps, you got all my info. So go ahead and shoot me a email, and I'll get this sent to you, brother. Thank you for playing along. And guys, remember, after the show, which we're going to be done here in just a little bit, you guys know I don't like to keep you forever. And John, he gets up early every day being a pro angler. So he goes, as we would say here in the South, he goes to bed with the chickens. So, we got to get him off here. So we're going to talk for about another
30 minutes, just another 30 minutes.
Yeah. We'll do about 30 minutes. We'll do about 20, 30 minutes. We've been on here about 46 so far. So I don't want to keep you up too far.
We did BTL for 2 hours today, man. Let's do it. Let's be
easy, man. I got to go to sleep too. I got to work. So already got some guys subbing and commenting on your channel over there. Way to go, Dan.
I'm gonna weigh my tackle this year.
God,
I'm putting in the I'm curious. You ever get curious? Like, how much tackle do I actually have? And then I don't know how my boat. I'm really curious how that boat's gonna perform. Distribution of weight and stuff. And maybe I'm going to Florida. I'll be push pulling around and stuff. So, like, I don't know what that weight needs to be. I don't know if it needs to be 250, 150. I don't know, but I'm keeping it simple, so I'm narrowing my stuff down, and I want to know. I mean, we're gonna do some. I'm gonna video it. We'll see.
That's actually a great idea, because I'm an overpacker. I'll be honest with you. Now, when I'm practicing, I mean, between me weighing 350 and my boat weighing, I probably got 2 more of me minimum in rods, and then another one of me in soft plastics and gear. My boat can barely get on plane most of the time. So, that's really, really, really interesting.
Check out that. How do fishing license work for pro tournaments?
All right, hold on. I want to give right there. That's where I was going. Jesse Hutch, how does fishing license work for pro tournaments? Do you still have to buy because you're out there practicing? Most pro tournaments, they're what? You're really out there 3 days of practice, 3 days for the tournament, so six days. Do most states have like a week, or do you end up having to buy like the whole daggum thing?
Yeah, I buy the whole enchilada. I mean, I don't know when I'm going to be back. So if I'm on 15, I use I'll fish anywhere from around 15 states in a year, and usually I'll try to carve out a day. And I'll just sit there and I'll get on on my computer, and I'll buy an annual pass for every state that I have and try to save that, the best I can in my notes, and save a screenshot and save it in my phone. And so as long as I can pull up my phone, I have battery life, I can show, my license. A lot of these states are going to like an electronic license where you can have an app and show your app, And
that's cool. That's what I do. I always, because I live like at the convergence of Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky, even West Virginia. So, I can basically be in Kentucky in 45 minutes, and Tennessee in 30 minutes, and North Carolina in 45 minutes. So I fish a lot of those different places. He's been throwing this up here. So fishing the Southeast, catch a state record, or find 20 grand in a 1 pound bass mouth.
I mean,
I got to take a drink.
Listen, someone's going to break that fishing record at some point in life.
Yeah.
So give me that 20 grand in a 1 pounder's mouth.
I'll take it all day. I agree.
100%. Give me the 20 grand.
I agree.
If you lowered it to 5, would say take me to 5. But
20 grand's a chunk of change.
Boy. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Someone said something in there about if I'm enjoying the Mpfl or in return. I don't remember where that's at, but I definitely want to answer, man. I am 100% pro Mpfl. If I qualify for the elites, I'll try to do the dual tour. But I do have a love for bass. So who doesn't? Growing up, like I said, I can still hear Bob Cobb's voice. Like I want to be one of these days. It'd be a dream come true to be able to fish one elite event.
Yeah, I agree with that. Favorite jerkbait and go-to color?
Well, my favorite, we got guys just now leaving. Look at that. 8:30 p.m. The Bass Tank guys are just now leaving and going home. So
dedication. Yeah.
You are asking too. Like I said, I get very specific about my details on the old Rogue is going to be your go-to, but I do have times in timber where I like to use the Megavast +1, and timber is a very important part of live scoping. It's very difficult. It's more challenging. I like to fish where other people can't cast and where people are scared to. They don't know how to read the fish how they behave. There's a lot to do with timber, kind of like what Patrick Walters did at Fork that guys are getting better at, but I still have an advantage over other people. And one of those, and this is a gem, is using a longer bill jerkbait and more of a coffin style jerkbait to be able to bounce off those limbs and have more confidence to be able to just throw it in like a crankbait and crank it through there.
Mm-hmm.
Go-to color would be, I carry two main colors with me on jerkbaits. I want a translucent one of some kind, and I want more of a solid white bodied one. So I like, I'm trying to remember the color. What is it? The Ozark shad, color with the purple back and a little bit of chartreuse.
Oh yes,
what? Yes. That's
I believe that's
table rock shad. Table rock shad.
Yes,
that's my number one kind of go-to solid color.
I can see why out there. So have you ever actually been stopped during a tournament and asked for your license?
I have been stopped 3 times last year.
Wow.
During weird situations, not during the tournament. I've been stopped after the tournament, like loading up, it's nerve-wracking, man, because if you get a ticket during that time, it's over with. So you're sitting there like, but for the most part.
So now wait a minute, it's over with. You mean like if you get a ticket during the tournament?
You're disqualified.
Wow, did not know that.
I
did not know that.
There's no breaking rules. I mean, I think it's a liability issue, for these tournament trails. If you got someone out there breaking laws and stuff, that's just a liability can come because a lot of those are connected to safety and things like that. So I mean, it's pretty much, the Mpfl may have a little bit of discretionary inside of their their decision making. I can't remember, but for the most part, every trail I've ever been around, you get a ticket, man, it's over with. You might as well go hang it up. No more fishing that day.
Now we're are you coming to Michigan?
We are going to Michigan, aren't we?
Yep.
I have zero clue about Michigan.
From what I always understand, it's a drop shot, a tube, and a small swim bait. That's the only 3 things they fish up there. A jerkbait and sometimes a jig when they're fishing for large.
I'm going to probably have to increase my spinning reel collection to above 2, is what I'm hearing. Like, I need to double that at Arsenal at least.
Now, here's a question. Thoughts on glow-in-the-dark soft plastics from Bobby Basson.
So the Mo Glow from Bobby Garland, the crappie baits, there is some unique things that I've seen fish react to at certain times. I don't personally have it figured out when, where, and how that you should potentially use those. That's something that I've actually wanted to do some kind of YouTube practice, like, conspiracy theory style things on it. So the answer is I don't have a lot of thoughts on that, but I do know that there's times, especially in murky water, that go the glow on the crappie, it does affect him. I don't know on the bass.
So guys, again,
I know guys use the UV as an example. Right.
Yeah. Now, guys, again, I want to remind you, John has generously offered to do a giveaway on his channel. So what you need to do is go out there and his newest video, put in the comment section, hashtag BassGeek. He's going to draw tomorrow, I believe you said, right?
I'll let you be in charge. We'll do that together. We can figure out a way to do it on social media.
All right.
However you want to do it on your YouTube, we can.
I'll tell you what we'll do.
What I really did is when my wife was in labor, I snuck in the closet and I got like 100 pairs of her shoes she hasn't worn, and actually that's really what this is. So I started feeling guilty.
He's gonna send you guys 100 lady shoes. All right. John, tell us what your go-to fishing line is.
Oh, that's easy, man. So Sunline is my go-to line. And I'm drawing a blank at the moment, but it's the Power 2 FC. If you guys ever see that, my Win on Harris chain, it's a Jason Christie line. It's a metered line that goes from like the translucent fluorocarbon. It's not really translucent, but you guys understand what I'm saying. To I think it's every meter, so every 3 feet, there's an orange section, and then for about 2 feet, and then it goes back to metered. And I love that stuff, guys, for flipping, especially in grass. I can't tell you guys how much confidence it gives me in sight fishing for bites when I'm looking for that little bitty. And I've just been able to pull the trigger a lot faster on things that as I get older, my eyesight's not as clear and stuff. It also helps me when the windy days to know when to look, if I need to lay my rod left or right to kind of come over a little limb or something of that nature. So that Power 2 FC, I've only really thrown it in the heavier versions, 20, 25, and I think 17, 20, 25. So I don't know what other sizes they have it in, but it's awesome stuff.
When you told me about that, when we interviewed you, I was like, wow, that's really neat, because, you'll tell them kind of what you were doing about, you were flipping grass, but you were really paying attention because the bass were not on the bottom, right? They were kind of up, so you could count.
Right. And it's about 8 foot. You're flipping grass, it's 8 foot. So yeah, I mean, I could see that if my first meter, which that, my metered line, the first orange spot was about 3 or 4 foot up my line for my bait. If it stopped all of a sudden, I didn't get to that second one, it was time to set the hook. Because those big fish, especially in the grass, a lot of times they don't go ripping out. They just go, and they just sit there like big old, they own it, and if you don't set the hook on them, they're going to spit that thing back out.
Yep. So my buddy Jared tried to do a keeper cold, but I think he confused it with this or that. So we're going to do a this or that, Jared. Okay. We're going to do a this or that on wipes or toilet paper in the boat.
To be honest with you, I prefer the wipes, but I do keep toilet paper. And unfortunately, I've probably used the sock treatment over all of those more often. Like, I always feel like it's the walk of shame coming home with one sock on. Like my wife said, why you got one sock? Well, that thing that happens in the woods with the bears.
It happens. Yeah. All right. Do you fish any finesse stuff?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a 7-pound test, shaky head, 1 ounce weight, green pumpkin, 6-inch worm fishing full. I've won more money on that than I can even think of in tournament finishes. Listen, I was on a major chatterbait bite about 4 years ago in a BFL. I ended up getting 4th in. I put about 16, 17 pounds in the boat with this chatterbait thinking I was a bad dude, and picked up the shaky head, went right behind myself, and ended up calling everyone out and weighed in 21 pounds of that shaky head. Like, I thought I was out there being Jason Christie, like I'm whacking him on. And then I was like, let me just see if this, and I was like, oh my
That
goodness.
is so funny.
So, and I've caught some monsters, some 7s and 8s. I don't know that I've caught anything over 8 on 7-pound test line. But for the most part, man, you don't lose fish on that. That setup. You can't get nuts with your hook set. You got to learn how to reel into them. But yeah, I do. And the secondary thing that I do is, drop shot. I know when to pull out a drop shot, and hot summertime, it's drop shot time for me.
Yeah. So now we already got people going. We not only are they checking out your YouTube and the Bass Tank, now they're trolling you. We got them trolling you on your Facebook page. They're saying nice crappy out there on your Facebook page.
That's cool.
So,
yeah.
Like I said, John is the mistaken crappy angler. So we'll start calling. Yeah. What's your favorite from Leo? What's your favorite swim bait? What's your go-to? Let's narrow it down even farther. What's been your most productive swim bait during tournaments?
Tournaments. Probably the Hazardong has been one of my most productive.
Oh, there you go. Rigged. Yeah, rigged any way you want to rig it.
Right. I would say that's it. I go really small, I go really big. So then I'd probably say, but I do love, and I'm drawing a blank right now, the Mega Bass, the big one.
The Mega Bass. Oh yeah, I can't remember it. You got me. I'm gonna look it up now. I'm gonna look it up.
I caught a 9 3/4 on that in the Lawrence boat a year ago. You can find that video.
The mag draft.
The mag draft, yeah.
Mag draft.
I love a mag draft bite because I love the way, listen, when I'm throwing it on a big old head and burning it, moving it pretty quick most of the time, and those fish they'll try to rip the rod out of your hand. So it's the bite that I'm in love with, not necessarily the bait itself, but the bite that it creates.
So, do you use speed clips on any of your hard baits? Quick clips. So for quick,
I think that's something that I need to do more of at times. I'm not a big cranker. I don't do a lot of cranking. I've probably caught more fish on a square bill or a 10XD, and a lot of that mid-range stuff I just don't do a lot of. I mean, I've got them and I've caught fish on them, so that's probably something, a skill set that I need to work on. I know my dad growing up, man, my dad was a wiggle wart guy, and he would bump the stump with that wiggle wart, and he believed that you had to have that clip or you were going to get about half the bites. He believed in that clip. Something about it giving that bait the extra bump the stump, that extra whip, back and forth, side to side action.
So Jared corrected me. Leave one at home, this or that, a long pair of needle nose pliers or your toilet paper.
No needle nose?
Yeah, no.
Wow. Listen, I've recovered with the sock, but the needle nose are really important, especially if I don't have that special tool to change my treble hooks out, and you can kind of get away with the needle nose. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the needle nose. I want the needle nose.
All right, from Tommy, tell us how you fish a jerkbait. Now, this is going to be an interesting question because I've watched some of his videos in the wintertime, so when it's cold.
On a 6-hour day, a typical 6-hour day, I throw it about 8 hours. So I keep it wet, Tommy. Is how you do.
What's your pause? Now it might be a little different because I know that, the thing about the whole one thing that we're learning from that forward facing sonar, that live scope, is that, they like it they like fast moving baits, even during the wintertime. So tell us a little bit about that retrieve style.
Listen, if I went to Tommy and said, "Hey, Tommy, man, what's your go-to move to get your wife? To get a little kiss from your wife, right?" He might tell me his go-to move, but so let me compare it. So, like you're asking me what my cadence is. Is it boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom?
yeah.
Here's what the live scope allows me to do. I can see right. It's like Tommy. You can see right into your wife's heart, and right now. You may try to go out there and show your go-to move and be like, "Hey, you got the guns for the girls kind of thing." But she may be like, "Hey, actually, I just want him to wash the dishes." And so you're like, "Hey, man, I got to clear, wash the, yeah, there I am. Wax on, wax off, wax on." So that's what the live scope allows me to do. Jokingly, my cadence will change quite a bit, guys. I'm looking a lot more at the depth of the fish. I'm looking a lot more about whether those fish want to come up real high, if that bait needs to be closer to their face. Do they actually want to go down on the bait? And then it's about the speed that fish wants, reacts after I get its attention. And so there is a lot. First of all, I need to get its attention, right? And then secondly, once I got its attention, it's coming to that bait. Is it coming crashing at it, or is it coming to sniff it? That's what I call sniffing,
Yeah.
And
coming up to look at it.
Yeah. So understanding the way that fish is behaving on that jerkbait will tell me a lot. For instance, if that fish gets horizontal on the bait, here's the bait, and it's like horizontal and looking at it. It wants it to move, okay? So then I move it. Now, I match that fish's speed. If he comes fast at it, boom, I'm going to move it again away from him, cat and mouse. And I'm wanting to run into it and smash it, right? If that fish comes up and he gets vertical on it and it's sitting there, I'm not going to do much of anything because fish love, and you learn this from crappie, and bass will do it too, they love to feed up. So if he's getting in that position, all he's getting ready to do is just go and suck. Especially the big ones, he's going to open up his gills and he's going to suck on it, okay? So, a lot of times when they're in that position, if they've been there for a long time, and then I've had one kind of, leave, I'll time it about the same, and then I may give it just a little bump, and a lot of those big ones, you'll end up catching them, you'll end up hooking them right on their nose, and that's why I say you're up there sniffing. It is almost like they're up there, they got those two little marks, and they're up there sniffing. Yeah. You'll hit them right in the top of the head. It won't be in the mouth because they were just up there sniffing it. So that's my retrieves. I'm looking into the heart of that fish. It's a lot different. Now, if I'm in a summertime pattern and I'm just going to go, play with smallmouth, I love to rip it fast. I'm out there KVD in it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, guys, I want to tell you right there is a prime example of somebody who has really put that live scope to work. I mean, you listen at the detail, being able to see literally how the fish position. The man has got it tuned in. So that brings me back. If you guys want to learn how to use that, I know you guys at the Bass Tank give classes, correct?
Well, we used to do a lot more. We need to do more. We had to shut that down a little bit, and so it's more of a tech support customer situation.
Gotcha.
We will be doing a lot more of that stuff through my personal YouTube, and we're going to expand it from there. So, I mean, I appreciate the shout out and love. For the most part, man, we ship nationwide. Any electronics you want, we have financing, free shipping. We got a website, thebasstank.com, and then we've got a shop where we do installs as well. And the Bass Tank was actually created for me breaking down the Forest Wood Cup. And so there was a problem. So there's a power supply issue and stuff like that. So that's what the Bass Tank mainly does. I am on the side of the business for marketing and fish catching. And so my partner, Scott, he's the engineering guy who does and makes sure that everything that I'm breaking out there gets fixed.
John's like me. When people would come up that didn't know who I was working the Third Eye fishing booth this weekend at the expo. They'd be like, "Is this your company?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm the face. I know I'm not a very good one." Yeah. John's a little better one than me. I'll give him, but Hey, tell everybody about your mega awesome giveaway that you're going to do again. Tell them how to win.
Yeah, so I've been clearing out my garage. I've got literally trash bags full of just various random baits and tackle. And so I'm going to grab one of those suckers, and who knows, I may pick two people. I mean, we got so much stuff. If you just go over to the Hookup with Soukup's YouTube page, and hashtag BassGeek in there. We will find a clever way to pick somebody out. I'm going to work with Hank on that, and he can tell me we're going to go back to this channel, guys, and show the love back over here. Yeah. And we'll ship that out to you. We'll notify you and then ship it out to you.
Yeah. We'll make it nice and easy. Do his latest video. Tell him what the name of your latest video is.
Well, you know what? We did a short. We did a short, but if you do we've got all the stuff to track. It doesn't matter. But so if you guys go on whatever one's your favorite, but I think spooning, deep water spooning was my latest full video. Is that what it's titled? Deep water spooning?
Was the 28 was catching deep suspended? That wasn't alive, right? That was it. Yep, spooning. That's it.
Yep.
Catching deep suspended winter bass, guys. So that's the one we want you to go to.
I caught a fish 55 foot deep in that video.
And guys, he's got a 2-part series over there called the Dirty 30. Now, for you guys that don't know what the Dirty 30 means, it means his best 5 went over 30 pounds. But there's more. I don't want to give spoilers. Tell them what your second best 5 went.
Oh, we got over 20 for sure. For sure. So, I will tell you, I lose or catch a double digit in that video.
Yep. I've seen them. It first off made me sick because I was like, God, do I suck that bad? Or hey guys, I want to give a shout out to Tackle Junkie. The man is in here who's never ate a daggone biscuit and gravy. I know we trolled him earlier.
I don't know. I don't think he actually catches bass. I don't think you can catch a bass if you have no biscuits and gravy.
Oh, we gotta give him.
See, he's got that picture of him holding that fish. Yeah. That's because his friend caught it. He's just excited.
Oh, you know, Jim, we got to give you some hell, bro. You know we do. Wait, what? Dang it, Hank, he says.
That's a mortal sin right there. Someone. You know what? Biscuits and gravy have crushed more keto diets. I mean, they are. Yeah.
Oh, here's one that everybody. And I'll tell you what, one of the guys in here, my buddy from South Carolina, Joey's got a great breakdown on this. What's your breakdown on this?
Is fishing skill or luck? It is 100% skill with a dash of luck.
There you go.
And, you got to play the odds, so you end up creating your own luck. It's not a coincidence that some fishermen always get lucky. They put themselves in the right place at the right time. So if you don't think it's skill, get in the boat, multiple days with someone that is better than you. And I think you're going to start seeing there's a reason why guys are catching them all the time, even amongst other good fishermen. Why is there these guys that are just so much better? They've got a skill set. And there's a lot into that.
Now, wait. My buddy, if he's still on here, Joe, if you're still on here, put it in there. Put it in the comment section. But I believe I finally wrote this down. He's got a really good
Ben Bunning. Fishing is Latin for luck. I like that.
But my buddy Joey always says, it's 40% skill, 40% luck, 20% equipment. He said that's kind of how he breaks it down, So now here's a question, what's happening, fellas? Do you always fish from the front of the boat? And then I'm not for BassGeek, but I was going to say, do you have any sales coming up or going on right now to Bass Tank?
Yeah. So I do always fish from the front of the boat because I'm a very selfish person. And
have you always? Do you do any co-angling before?
Oh, did you always? No, actually I did. So my quick story is my first word was fish. I was a fishing nut. I was a bass geek my entire childhood. I was a kid that I got picked on one time. If you mounted anything besides a fish, they used to ask me, like, of course not. Like, I was love with fish as a kid. And then 19 years old, dropped out of school, got married really young, and I didn't fish for 10 years at all. I did everything I could to provide for my wife and family. And at 29, or 27, I went to my wife and said, hey, I'm going to start fishing again. She's like, you're going to do what? She didn't even know I like to fish. So I'm like, yeah, surprise. And next thing you know, that year I was at the Bass Nation National Championship. That first year I came back, and I actually did that fishing as a co-angler. But back then the co-anglers would compete against the boaters. You know, it was like the old red man style.
Yeah.
So my first tournament as a boater was at the Bass Nation National Championship in 2009 at the Harris Chain in Florida. So I quickly excelled away from being a non-boater, got a boat, and became a boater.
All right, everybody, we're going to hold him to it. Tackle Junkie says during his live stream tomorrow, he's going to try biscuits and gravy.
No. Hey, what was the second part of that question that I was just answering? There was
the second part was
the deals. The deals.
Any sort of sales. Yes.
We do. We have. Listen, guys, this is a Bass Tank exclusive deal. You're not going to find this anywhere else. I promise you guys. We've got two very good specials. We've got the 93H UHD Eco Maps, and it comes with a GT54 transducer, so it runs side down and traditional sonar for $699. And a lot of people had it for Black Friday, but we've continued to have that sale. You can go at thebasstank.com. You can find that. But one thing we have right now is we've also got a refurbished live scope bundle for $19.99. You can get, it's got a 1 year instead of 2. Okay. So make sure if you buy this, you register it real quick. If there's any issues before the end of the year, we will help you make sure that it gets warranted. Okay. So for $19.99, no sales tax, no shipping cost. We will ship you a 9-inch unit and a live scope. You can be into a live scope system for under $2,000. Nowhere else will you find that deal.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Okay, guys. So we've been in here for about an hour and 16 minutes right now. And here's a question, and I know John, and this is going to get in deep. So be ready. Be ready to take notes. Get the pads out. Pull up Notepad on the other side of the screen, because what I'm about to ask him, it's a pretty big question. And daggone it, I lost it. Anyway, sorry to whoever asked this question. So tell us how you just, give us a overall. You go out on the water. How now does the downside and live scope work together? Just give us an overall. Hey, I go out. This is how I use my electronics to locate those and catch those fish.
Okay, so I'm going to take a step back and add some more to it. So the importance of electronics and everything I'm about to answer for me is being a tournament fisherman. I'm going to new waters I've never been to, 15 lakes I've never been to in my life. And I've got multiple businesses. I've got a lot of things that I have going on. I don't have time to go out there and go a month beforehand and go pre-practice a lot of these places and get those waypoints. So I've got to do a lot of map studying ahead of time. I got to be as efficient as possible on everything I'm doing to get in 3 days that I show up on a new body of water to break that thing down and find fish and catch fish to compete at the very highest level as well against other anglers that are really good. So mapping is extremely important. I'm going to throw mapping in it. You cannot forget mapping in this conversation. My temperature gauge is extremely important. I've mentioned that. My 2D sonar is extremely important. Now, with my 2D sonar, I actually run a feature called the A scope on my 2D sonar. You have to run your A scope for 2D to be as efficient as you want it to be. I can go into depth on that a little bit later. So then you got your down imaging, your side imaging. There you go. So that's 5. And then you get into your live scope, okay? So, and beyond that, I mean, I could possibly even throw in my trolling motor and how it works with my spot lock and things like that. So there's 6 or 7 features of through my electronics that I utilize to make sure I'm as efficient as possible. And so how does that work initially? So I throw my active captain on my phone, and at any point in time between now and tournament day, wherever I'm at, in the bed, late at night, at a restaurant, at lunch, wherever, I can pull up my mapping, specifically my relief shading mapping on my cell phone, and I can start dropping waypoints on humps and drop-offs, and I can label those waypoints certain things. And then when I get there to the water, I can go drive and look at those things right away. The same thing as if you were looking at Google Earth and wanted to say, okay, there's something I want to go look at. So that helps me have a starting point kind of right away. So once I get to the water, depending on the time of year, water temperature can play a big factor. So that's why I'm always staring at that temperature gauge and making sure that helps me, so all this is before the live scope ever hits the water, by the way. So then when I'm graphing, I'm going to mainly graph with my down and side imaging, mainly. Now, I will also graph with 2D, especially on grass lakes, because 2D will pick up grass quicker than anything else, because I'm just looking for a blurb. A lot of times if I'm cutting across the water at 30 miles an hour, not very fast, I can tell that there's grass there. But I'm going to use my down and side imaging to locate both cover, structure, and fish. So those are the three things that I'm looking for when I'm using those. And I'm able to scan a lot more drop waypoints. I'm not going to go back and fish yet. So I may drop, hey, here's an icon for fish. I found a bunch of fish, mark fish. Here's brush piles, mark brush piles. Here's drop-offs, mark. Here's a rock pile. And I actually have icons that I save for each one of these. A rock pile will actually be a rock. And so, we didn't talk about GPS, but GPS is also very important, because after I've dropped these waypoints, let's say I've idled for 2 or 3 hours and never even made a cast yet. And once again, this is in a 3-day practice period I'm bringing down. I'll go back to these waypoints. I'll drop the trolling motor, and then that's when I'll start looking with the live scope. And usually, if I see 10 fish on my side imaging or down imaging, there's more like 40 or 50 fish there on my scope. And so I am actually looking for the easiest, dumbest fish to catch. It doesn't matter who finds the most fish. It finds the most catchable fish, and then from there, the biggest, most catchable fish. And so that's why I'm trying to make things as simple for me as possible by finding the most fish I can possibly find. I got a 3-day event. I need fish for days. And so then I'm going to drop that trolling motor. I'm going to look, and what's important about that GPS is that my front unit automatically communicates with my console units, and so I'm that much more efficient to get, boom, I drop that trolling motor, I'm right on that waypoint. There you go. I scan in there. I like what I see. I don't like what I see. I delete that waypoint or I add to it. If I like what I see, I may or may not even make a cast, to be honest with you. Yeah. And so in a windy situation, that's where my spot lock feature will, play in on my trolling motor. And so that's how I a quick breakdown of how I utilize all the different equipment. Now, once I've found, if I'm looking at schooling fish, depending on what time of year they are, if they're suspended schooling fish, and I know that the general area they live in, I will probably not go scan that area first with my big motor. I'll probably stop 150 foot short, put the troll motor down, and work to them, because I don't want that big motor to make those fish go down, become inactive. They're up high. I want to catch them slipping, as I call it. Let them catch them slipping. Yeah. Let them be up there feeding so I can throw a lure on them and shock them and get one to bite.
There you go. That's great. And the guys, the biggest key, and it's what we said earlier in the show, it really is about it eliminating water and saving you time, so you find those fish, those tattletale, those big dumb fish. Gramp said to tell you that the refurb is sold.
The refurb is not sold.
So maybe there's something else out there.
There is tell them to look for the bundle kit. It will be a bundle kit. Now, we had a refurb in the past, so that might be an old item SKU that he's looking at. But if he looks for the bundle deal, that's the 93 refurb bundle. That should be more specific. And maybe BassGeek, I'll find that link and send it to you or something, and you can pop it up. So, hey, I got one of those questions that I'd love to answer.
All right, do it.
9 p.m., the official Burley Hype Man, which is funny.
Oh, yeah. Oh, where's that at? Hold on. I'm backing up.
9. So that's 10, I guess, your time.
Yep. All right, I'm a little too far. Burley. Gotta have Burley on too, by the way. All right, go ahead, John.
How much movement of located fish from practice to competition do you see? Obviously, the weather can affect it, but just assume not much change. And I would say that assumption is completely wrong. There is always a change. Always, always, always. which is why I think some of your top anglers that are doing really well don't do a lot of fishing in practice. They don't do as much catching as what you think they do because they're looking for more of the environmental fish factors. They're looking more to just pattern the fish and figure out where they're coming and going to, because they actually want to figure it out more on game day than they actually do in practice, because it will absolutely change. Now, does that mean the fish have actually moved completely out of the area? No, it could be more of they're still in that same general area, but they're they're just in a different mood. And so, or, they completely cleared out of an area. That absolutely does happen, especially when you're talking pre-spawn, post-spawn, fall transition time periods where they're coming and going.
So apparently Gramps was saying no, he just bought it.
Oh, I see that. Well, I hate to break it to Gramps. We've got a few more. So
hey, at least he got one. All right, guys. We're at 125. We're going to do a giveaway. All right, John. Now listen. No, I'll tell you what, text me a hashtag that you want me to use. Text it to me, and then I'll announce it. Because if you say it, I'll miss some of their entries. All right, guys, so here's the next giveaway. Again, I want to give a big shout out to Third Eye Fishing. You can go to their website. It is in the description. And I do have a code down there so you can save something. I don't remember if it's 10 or 15. I want to say it's 15. But, I'm a fisherman, so we all know what us fishermen do. We lie once in a while. So I'm going to say 10 or 15. All right, here we go. I don't know if it'll let me put the little, thingamabob in there, John. So I'm going to.
Well,
I'll get it. I'll get it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, don't go away.
Man, you got some engagement on these guys. These guys are knocking it out of the park.
All right, guys. So we are collecting. Let me make sure that I entered it right. All right, we did. I'm going to actually share it this time. Here you go, guys. The hookup with Soukup. Let it roll, and we'll talk for a minute. Golly, man, I don't know what the heat is in here, but Fat Boy is starting to sweat. So, man, tell everybody actually where you're from. Did we actually say where you were from?
I'm an Okie.
There you go.
I live in Sapulpa, Oklahoma now. Born and raised in Tulsa. Sapulpa is just a suburb of it. And lived in Agra for about 16, 17 years out in the country, Agra, Oklahoma. And so, yeah, I'm an Okie. That's why I've had biscuits and gravy. We're down to earth, man. You want some sense? Come get some common sense.
So what's your home lake out there? What'd you grow up fishing?
You know what? I don't have a home lake. I had a little home lake 17 years. I lived by Cushing, Oklahoma. It's a little city lake, and the dam actually busted on it about 3 years ago.
Wow!
So they've never repaired it yet. And that was a little grass mud hole that we flipped willow all the time, willow grass, and that's where I cut my teeth on flipping grass.
Yeah. Now, guys, I seen somebody in there jokingly say, nobody's going to want to send that one twice, but I'm going to sick an Okie on. Okay, I don't even know what that means, but nobody's going to want to enter that one twice, guys. It does filter out duplicates, so don't worry. We're already up to 59. John, when's your next video dropping, man? When's the next full video dropping?
That's a good question. We're trying to film as much as we can right now to kind of get a backlog. So when I'm gone, I'm going to be gone for 7 to 10 days. So yeah, I'm going to say by what day is today? Monday morning. I think we were trying to plan on having one tomorrow, but I have to check to find out. So there will be one this week, and then there'll be 1 or 2 by the end of next week. And then when we get back, hopefully we can quickly get edited the content that we shoot on for the Opens event and give you guys the breakdown. One thing I'm going to do different on the Opens is I'm going to do a lot of pregame thought process of what I'm thinking the fish should be doing and how I'm preparing for it. And so you guys can see if I'm just absolutely wrong, going into it. And we're going to talk about how, what I thought was right or wrong and what I actually learned from that process as well, along with hopefully some fish catches.
Here's a good question. How much does fishing pressure from locals matter in tournaments?
I think that matters a lot, depending mostly on two factors. I see it affecting clearwater lakes more, where fish are feeding based off sight and not off their lateral lines. So in Oklahoma, we've got a lot of murkier water, a lot of water that has a lot of nutrition in it. Creates a lot of bait, guys. If you've never seen Oklahoma bait and gizzard shad and how big they are, that environment can there's so much of it that, it can really, really cause those fish, even if they've been pressured, to bite. Now, when they're feeding on their lateral lines, that means they may change a little bit from, just eating a big number 6 Colorado blade on a spinnerbait to something else that you may have to do. But it does affect, 100% does, fishing pressure does affect the fish, their behavior. And there's some telltale signs of if that's something that you have going on, and you have to make adjustments to that.
So if you if you had 1 hour from the official Burley Hype Man, what's the one setup you would take to catch one bass? 1 hour, one bass, one setup. What you got?
I'm probably going to go with the jerkbait.
I love the jerkbait. The old Rogues, man. I mean.
Yep. I'm going to be able to cover more water than I could if I went to a bottom bait. It's easy to go out and say I'm going to catch one on a shaky head, but sometimes in an hour, you haven't covered that much water. So I'm going to be able to get it to go, I can move it fast horizontally. I can get it work deeper. There's just a lot more. It's probably the most universal once you know how to use it. And, listen, it took me a long time to build that confidence with it. But if you step back and look at the old man KVD, King Kong himself, he's won more money on that thing. There's a reason for it,
Yep. So, wait, did I skip that question just then?
Ask me about tournament videos.
Yeah, and he just said, he is going to do tournament videos.
We're working on it. It'll be the first one. It'll be the first Open. I think I saw another question in there. What was my favorite moment in the Mpfl? I'm going to try to get that footage, but it's the determination bass. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's a 7+ pounder that I caught in the last Harris chain. I pulled my glasses down and said that was the determination in my. So it's been dubbed the determination fish, and I gave out some raw emotion. My voice sounded like yours after that yell. Kept catching that fish, but it was a $50,000 fish catch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, awesome. So now he's bought it. Now he wants you to tell him how to mount it.
Okay, ask John, what would be the best way to mount that on an 18-foot low V-bottom, not on the trolling motor? He does not want it on the trolling motor is what he's saying. Yep. The best way is on the trolling motor. If you don't want it on the trolling motor for whatever reason, maybe it's dexterity purposes or whatever you want to spot lock a lot and you're fishing brush piles. There's definitely some reason some individuals are that way. Then it's on a pole mount. And we've got 3 different pole mounts that you can look at. We got the Bruce City pole. We've got the Beat Down Mount pole. And we got the Sea Light pole. The guys you can call in if you want some more detail on those poles tomorrow. 918-509-7864. That's 918-509-7864. And ask the guys a little bit more detail about which poles. And that depends a lot on not only the V-bottom part, which is important, the aluminum part, but also kind of what your plans are for how you fish. Got a little qualifying questions for that before we.
There you go. All right, guys. So here we go. We've got 77. We're going to do the draw now. This is, again, for the Third Eye Fishing Nico kits. It's got everything you need in it. The hooks, the rings, the crawls, and the weights. So I want to thank Third Eye again for sponsoring the giveaway tonight. Let's do the drawing.
Is it a random draw?
Oh, yeah. I got to hook you up with this, don't I? I got to hook you up with this. Winner, Jay Buckman. Congrats, Jay. Jay, I'm going to put in right now.
This is also how BassGeek decides his fishing spots before a tournament, by the way. You don't know where to go. He's like, what should I do? What should I throw?
If you watch my tournament videos from this year, it will be painfully obvious that this is the truth. So, all right, let's see.
It's Jay, like that old what was that? Remember the ball? You'd shake it, and it's like
the magic 8 ball, man.
Yeah, the magic 8 ball. You know,
Jay, I just put my email in there. It is bassgeek.biteme@gmail because that's what I'm always begging the fish to do. So make sure you hit it. It will be in the description of this video also. I will get your address, Jay, and we'll get that mailed out to you. I'll try to get it mailed out to you this week. And I want to say, first, excuse me, and second, sorry. I've still got to get the winner from last Monday mailed out. So I'm going to try and do that all tomorrow. So I'll spend a half hour at the post office. Guys, thanks for being in here. And before we go, we're going to shout out again. Remember, go to John's YouTube channel, the Hookup with Soukup, and make sure you go to Catching Deep Suspended Winter Bass. I can't see all of it, but something spoon something. Spoon fishing tips.
If they hashtagged another video, we'll find it too. So
we will find it.
Stress what they did, but go to that video. It'll be awesome.
Hashtag BassGeek. Me and John will get together tomorrow, or what is tomorrow? Okay, we'll get together tomorrow or Thursday, depending on his schedule. And we will actually record a little drawing and post that up on his channel or my channel. If you're subscribed to him, you'll get a notification either way, so it doesn't really matter, right? All right, guys. Listen, I want to thank John. Number one, I want to thank John for being such an awesome dude. Thank you for coming on. This is my second, not ever, but my second live stream that we've done that since we've started doing it consistently this year. I want to thank John for being on the podcast with me and Brian, the Basscast. And John, I want you to go ahead and shout out each and every one of your sponsors, all your social media, everything you want to shout out. Let me go ahead and get you actually on the big screen here. There we go.
Well, you can follow the Bass Tank social media on Facebook, Instagram. We have YouTube as well. My personal social media is John Soukup Fishing Pro. That's my Facebook and Instagram handles, if you will. Is that handles or whatever they are?
Yeah, I call them handles, but we're probably old. So
the Hookup with Soukup's the YouTube for me. Listen, my sponsor list, that really is important to me. It's near and dear. Obviously, the Bass Tank's my title sponsor. The guys at the Bass Tank that allow me to go out and fish. I can't thank them enough, man. They really hold down the fort for me. Express Boats, Yamaha Motors, Beat Down Mounts. If you haven't tried any of those, look at my videos. You're going to see some mounts that are about 3 foot tall. Lifts that live scope unit a lot closer to me. It's I use the Ultimate Shorty mount. You can get that at the Bass Tank as well. Pro Guide batteries. Working with Pro Guide on the lithium setups for my boat. The Express doesn't have as much room for 5 batteries, so I got 36 volts, and I got for my trolling motor. Garmin Electronics has been with me. I've also worked with Pradco, so all the Yum, Booyah, Gene LaRue, Bobby Garland, all those baits, the Heddens. It's an exciting new sponsor that I'm working with this year. Really excited to work with them, man. I can't tell you. We got a lot of content plans on that. Emery Saps & Sons is a commercial company, contracting company, and we're going to be doing some exciting things with them. We're actually going to work on a 2023 fishing tournament, probably around Table Rock Lake area. So that's going to be kind of a unique, kind of neat deal that we're doing. Sunline line, going to go with the AFCO gear. So I'm definitely forgetting who else working with me, but I wasn't ready for that job. But yeah, man, I've got a lot of sponsors that be behind me that really, really, really have helped me out.
All right, brother. Like I said, I can't appreciate you enough. And guys, you know, I've met a lot of pros in my life. John, I got to get you on the shirt of fame back here. I don't know if you can see it.
I got you a jersey. You need a jersey? What is that?
I got
50?
That's actually my that is actually my high school football jersey. That's my son's first football jersey, and then that is his senior year football jersey.
Oh,
I
that's
actually
cool.
coached high school football for 13 years and coached at my alma mater, offensive defensive line. But this shirt is signed by probably 200 professionals.
Oh,
And
wow.
one of my favorite pros, which is you, is not on there. So we're gonna have to hook up and you're gonna have to sign the shirt of fame I have back here. I'm as big as a fanboy as anything else when it comes to pro fishing. So man, you know, like I said, I've met a lot of guys, a lot of pros. There's pros that play a good guy on TV. There's pros that are okay guys. And there's pros that are just damn good guys. And John is a damn good guy.
Because I ate biscuits and gravy, by the way.
I
don't trust anybody that don't eat biscuits and gravy. Don't trust them.
I'm just waiting. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to get a phone call from Tackle Junkie. Dude.
I just got myself my first troll. That guy's going to be on everything. Thumbs down, negative.
All right, guys. John, don't go anywhere. Don't hang up. We'll talk a little bit after. Hey, guys, again, thanks. You know, we had, you know, anywhere from 130 to 150, 60 at times in here tonight. I know it's Monday night. And I do want to appreciate all of you coming out and all of the donations, man. Crazy. Thanks again for the $99 donation. That was insane. So, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to give John a tip now. So, you know. So, you guys have a great night. As always, I love each and every one of you, and you guys rock. Be good.